Let's pray. To the Supreme God, to the Great Divine Father and the Great Divine Mother, thank you for your priceless blessings, for your divine light, divine love, divine power, divine healing, guidance, mercy, help, and protection. Thank you. To our great spiritual teacher, to all the great spiritual teachers, to all the great gods and goddesses, to all the great, great ones, we very, very humbly thank you for your great blessings. We thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, let's start. Four classes of men. Men may be divided into four classes. Those bound by the fetters matlab vices of the world. The seekers after liberation, the liberated, and the ever free. मतलब चार classes में क्या है? Those bound by fetters of the world is the first class, जो अभी भी जिनमें vices हैं. Second, वो जो कि liberation ढूंढ रहे हैं, seekers after liberation. And third is the ones who are liberated. And then there is a fourth class called the ever free. It's an interesting class. Among the ever free, we may count sages like Narad. They live in the world for the good of others, to teach men spiritual truth. Those in bondage are sunk in worldliness and forgetfulness of God. Not even by mistake do they think of God. The seekers after liberation want to free themselves from attachment to the world. Some of them succeed and others do not. The liberated souls, such as sadhus and mahatmas, are not entangled in the world. See, liberated souls, such as sadhus and mahatmas, are not entangled in the world, in women and gold. Their minds are free from worldliness, besides, they always meditate on the lotus feet of God. Suppose a net has been cast into a lake to catch fish. Some fish are so clever that they never get caught in the net. They are like ever free. But most of the fish are those who seek liberation. Sorry, but most of the fish are entangled in the net. Some of them try to free themselves from it, and they are like those who seek liberation. But not all the fish that struggle succeed. A few do jump out of the net, making a bigger splash in the water. Then the fisherman shouts, "Look, there goes a big one." But most of the fish caught in the net cannot escape, nor do they make any efforts to get out. On the contrary, they burrow into their mud with a net in their mouths and lie there quickly, thinking, "We need not fear anymore. We are quite safe here." But the poor things do not know that the fisherman will drag them out with the net. These are the men bound to the world. The bound souls are tied to the world by the fetters of woman and gold. They are bound hand and foot, thinking that woman and gold will make them happy and give them security. They do not realize that it will lead them to annihilation. When a man thus bound to the world is about to die, his wife asks, "You are about to go, but what have you done for me?" Again, such is his attachment to the things of the world that when he sees the lamp burning brightly, he says, "Dim the light. Too much oil is being used," and he's on his deathbed. The bound souls never think of God. If they get any leisure, they indulge in their idle gossip and foolish talk, or they engage in fruitless work. If you ask one of them the reason, he answers, "Oh, I cannot keep still, so I'm making a hedge." When time hangs heavy on their hands, they perhaps start playing cards. There was a deep silence in the room. Redeeming power over faith. A devotee. So is there no help then for such worldly person? Master, certainly there is. From time to time he should live in the company of holy men. and from time to time go into solitude and meditate on God. Furthermore, he should practice discrimination and pray to God. In quotes, give me faith and devotion. Once a person has faith, he has achieved anything. There is nothing greater than faith. By the way, ये सेम लाइन्स हैं जो कि हमारे स्पिरिचुअल टीचर मास्टर चौक से हमको बताते हैं कि जो है with faith a disciple can move mountains, or if you have faith you can move mountains, right? And लॉर्ड जीसस ने पता नहीं कब तो किसी तो एक स्टोरी में पैराबल में बताया था कि faith is like a mustard seed. When it grows, it becomes like a giant mustard tree. Amazing, actually. Once a person has faith, he has achieved everything. There is nothing greater than faith. To Kedar, I think Kedarnath. In quotes, you must have heard about the tremendous power of faith. It is said in the Purana that Rama, who was God himself, the embodiment of absolute Brahman, had to build a bridge to cross the sea to Ceylon. But Hanuman, trusting in Rama's name, cleared the sea in one jump and reached the other side. He had no need of a bridge. All laugh. In quotes, once a man was about to cross the sea. Bibhishan wrote Rama's name on a leaf, tied it in the corner of the man's wearing cloth, and said to him, don't be afraid. Have faith and walk on water. But look here, the moment you lose faith, you will be drowned. The man was walking easily on water. Suddenly he had an intense desire to see what was tied in his cloth. He opened it and found only a leaf with the name of Rama written on it. What is this? He thought. Just the name of Rama? As soon as doubt entered his mind, he sank under the water. Wow, it's interesting. If a man has faith in God, then even he has committed the most heinous sins, such as killing a cow, Brahmin, or a woman, he will certainly be saved through his faith. Let him only say to God, O Lord, I will not repeat such an action, and he need not be afraid of anything. When he has said this, the master sang, if only I can pass away repeating Durga's name. How canst thou then, O blessed one, withhold me from deliverance? Wretched though I may be, I have stolen a drink of wine, or killed a child unborn, or slain a woman or a cow, or even caused a Brahmin's death. But though it all be true, nothing of this can make me feel the least uneasiness. For through the power of thy sweet name, my wretched soul may still aspire, even to Brahmanhood. Wow, it's a good. See, for through the power of thy sweet name, my wretched soul may still aspire. Parable of the Homa bird. Pointing to Narendra, the master said, you all see this boy. He behaves that way here. A naughty boy seems very gentle when with his father, but he is quite another person when he plays in the Chandni. Narendra and people of this type belong to the class of ever free. They are never entangled in the world. When they grow a little older, they feel the awakening of inner consciousness and go directly toward God. They come to the world only to teach others. They never care for anything of the world. They are never attached to woman or gold. The Vedas speak of the Homa bird. It lives high up in the sky and there it lays its eggs. As soon as the egg is laid, it begins to fall. But it is so high up that it continues to fall for many days. As it falls, it hatches and the chick falls. As the chick falls, its eyes open, it grows wings, As soon as its eyes open, it realizes that it is falling and will be dashed to pieces on touching the earth. Then at once shoots up towards the mother bird high in the sky. At this point, Narendra left the room. Kedar, Pranakrishna, M, and many others remained. Master praises Narendra. Master, you see, Narendra excels in singing, playing on instruments, study, and everything. The other day, he had a discussion with Kedar and tore his arguments to shreds. All laugh. To M, is there any book in English on reasoning? Yes, sir, there is. It's called Logic. Tell me what it says. M was a little embarrassed. He said, one part of the book deals with deduction from the general to the particular. For example, all men are mortal, scholars are men. Therefore, scholars are mortal. Another part deals with the method of reasoning from the particular to the general. For example, the crow is black, this crow is black, that crow is black, the crows that we see everywhere are black, therefore all crows are black. But there may be a fallacy in a conclusion arrived at in this way. For on inquiry, one may find a white crow in some country. There's another illustration. If there is rain, there is or has been a cloud. Therefore, rain comes from a cloud. Still another example. This man has 32 teeth. That man has 32 teeth. All men we see have 32 teeth. Therefore, men have 32 teeth. English logic deals with such inductions and deductions. Sri Ramakrishna barely heard these words. While listening, he became absent-minded, so the conversation did not proceed so far. When the meeting broke up, the devotees sauntered in the temple garden and went in the direction of Panchavati. It was about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. After a while, he returned to Master's room. There, on one small veranda, he witnessed an amazing sight. Sri Ramakrishna was standing still, surrounded by a few devotees, and Narendra was singing. M had never heard anyone except the Master sing so sweetly. When he looked at Sri Ramakrishna, he was struck with wonder, for the Master stood motionless, with his eyes transfixed. He seemed not to even breathe. A devotee told M that the Master was in Samadhi. M had never before seen or heard of any such thing. Silent with wonder, he thought, is it possible for a man to be so oblivious to the outer world in the consciousness of God? How deep his faith and devotion must be to bring about such a state. Narendra was singing, meditate, O my mind, on the Lord Hari, the stainless one, pure spirit, through and through. How peerless is the light that in him shines. How soul bewitching is his wondrous form. How dear is he to all his devotees. Ever more beauteous in flesh blossoming love that shames the splendor of a million moons. Like lightning gleams the glory of his form, raising erect the hair for every joy. Wow, it's really good words, yeah. The master shuddered when this last line was sung. His hair stood on end, and tears of joy streamed down his cheek. Now and then his lips parted a smile when he was seeing the peerless beauty of God. In quotes, that shames the splendor of a million moons. Was this the vision of God? The essence of spirit? How much austerity and discipline, how much faith and devotion must be necessary for such a vision? The song went on. Worship his feet in the lotus of your heart, with mind serene and eyes made radiant. With heavenly love, behold that matchless sight. Again that bewitching smile. the body motionless as before, the eyes half shut, as if beholding a strange inner vision. Strong drew to a close. Narendra sang the last lines, caught in the spell of his love's ecstasy. Immerse yourself for evermore, O mind, in him who is pure knowledge and pure bliss. The sight of Samadhi and the divine bliss he had witnessed left an indelible impression on M's mind. He returned home deeply moved. Now and then he could hear within himself the echo of those soul intoxicating lines. Immerse yourself for evermore, O mind, in him who is pure knowledge and pure bliss. Fourth visit. The next day, too, was a holiday for him. He arrived at Dakshineshwar at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Sri Ramakrishna was in his room. Narendra, Bhavanath, and other few devotees were sitting on a mat spread on the floor. They were all young men of 19 or 20, seated on the small couch. Sri Ramakrishna was talking with them and smiling. No sooner had M entered the room than the master laughed aloud and said to the boys, "There, he has come again." They all joined together in the laughter. M bowed low before him and took a seat. Before this, he had saluted the master with folded hands, like one with an English education. But that day he learned to fall down at his feet in orthodox Hindu fashion. Wow. Shashtang Namaskar or just bowing like you do in the Gurdwara and the temples, right? Bowing with the head on the ground, I think. The peacock and the opium. Presently, the master explained the cause of his laughter to the devotees. He said, "A man once fed a peacock with a pill of opium at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The next day, exactly at the same time, the peacock came back. It had felt the intoxication of the drug and returned just in time to have another dose." Peacock. M thought this was very apt illustration. Even at his home, he had been unable to banish the thought of Sri Ramakrishna for a moment. His mind was constantly at Dakshineshwar, and he had counted the minutes until he should go again. In the meantime, the master was having great fun with the boys, treating them as if they were his most intimate friends. Peals of side splitting laughter filled the room as if it were a mart of joy. The whole thing was a revelation to M. He thought, didn't I see him only yesterday intoxicated with God? Wasn't he swimming then in the ocean of divine love? A sight I had never seen before? And today the same person is behaving like an ordinary man? Wasn't it he who scolded me on the first day of my coming here? Didn't he admonish me, saying that you are a man of knowledge? Wasn't it he who said to me that form, God with form is as true as God without form? Didn't he tell me that God alone is real and all else is illusory? Wasn't it he who advised me to live in the world unattached like a maid servant in a rich man's house? Sri Ramakrishna was having great fun with the young devotees. Now and then he glanced at M. He noticed that M sat in silence. The master said to Ramlal, "You see, he is a little advanced in years and therefore somewhat serious. He sits quiet while the youngsters are making merry." M was then about 28 years old. Hmm. Hanuman's devotion to Rama. The conversation drifted to Hanuman, whose picture hung on the wall in the master's room. By the way, Neem Karoli Baba, whose book we will take next, was a devotee of Hanuman, so you should know about this. Sri Ramakrishna said, just imagine Hanuman's state of mind. He didn't care for money, honor, creature comforts, or anything else. He longed only for God. When he was running away with the heavenly weapon that had been secreted in the crystal pillar, Mandodari began to tempt him with various fruits. so that he might come down and drop the weapon. But he couldn't be tricked so easily. In reply to her persuasion, she sang the song, Am I in need of fruit? I have the fruit with capital F that makes this life fruitful indeed. Within my heart, the tree of Rama grows, bearing salvation for its fruit. Under the wish fulfilling tree of Rama, do I sit at ease, plucking whatever fruit I will. But if you speak of fruit, but if you speak of fruit, no beggar I for common fruit. Behold, I go, leaving a bitter fruit for you. As Sri Ramakrishna was singing this song, he went into samadhi. Again, the half-closed eyes, the motionless body that one sees in his photograph. Just a minute before, the devotees had been making merry in his company. Now all the eyes were riveted on him. Thus, for the second time, M saw the master in samadhi. After a long time, the master came back to ordinary consciousness. His face lighted up with a smile and his body relaxed. His senses began to function in a normal way. He shed tears of joy as he repeated the holy name of Rama. M wondered whether this very saint was the person who a few minutes earlier had been behaving like a child of 5. The master said to Narendra and M, I should like to hear you speak and argue in English. They both laughed, but they continued to talk in their mother tongue. It was impossible for M to argue in any more before Master. Though Ramakrishna insisted, they did not talk in English. At 5 o'clock in the afternoon, all the devotees except Narendra and M took leave of the Master. As M was walking in the temple garden, he suddenly came upon the Master talking to Narendra on the bank of a goose pond. Sri Ramakrishna said to Narendra, Look here, come a little more often. You are a newcomer. On first acquaintance, people visit each other quite often, as is the case with a lover and a sweetheart. Narendra and M laugh. So please come, won't you? Narendra, a member of the Brahma Samaj, was very particular about his promises. He said with a smile, Yes, sir, I shall try. As they were returning to Master's room, Sri Ramakrishna said to him, When peasants go to market to buy bullocks for their plough, they can easily tell the good from the bad by touching their tails. On being touched there, some meekly lie down on the ground. The peasants recognize that these are without metal and so reject them. They select only those bullocks that frisk about and show spirit when their tails are touched. Narendra is like a bullock of this latter class. He is full of spirit within. The master smiled as he said this and continued, There are some people who have no grit whatever. They are like flattened rice soaked in milk, soft and mushy, no inner strength. So exactly at 10:30, we finished this book today, and we will be starting with the next book called of Neem Karoli Baba. I'll find the exact name of the book. The reason we're starting that book is he has some very interesting stories, by the way, that we can, by the way, know in our life. Second, many successful people, including the best names that we know from the West, were the students of Neem Karoli Baba or visited his ashram in Nainital, Uttarakhand. Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg, blah blah. Then the list is quite big, by the way. Um, so we'll be starting to read his book, and there are enormous amount of stories that will really inspire you. That is the purpose starting that new book in the coming Saturdays from now on in the morning time. Yeah, just your closing prayer. Everyone, be aware of the heart and the crown chakra. To the Supreme God, Divine Father, Divine Mother, thank you for your great blessings. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. To our great spiritual teacher, to all the great spiritual teachers, to all the great gods and goddesses, to all the great, great ones, we very, very humbly thank you for your great blessings. The book is finished. I'm very, very happy to finish this beautiful book with all of you. By the way, on this particular session, no, we finished approximately, how many books have we finished? This is the seventh book, by the way, in the morning sessions. Seventh book. That is impressive. Seventh book, huh? Not bad. Good. So I will see on next Saturday morning will be a holiday. So the Saturday after that will be the next book will start. Okay. Be regular. See, the thing is, these books really inspire you for deeper and deeper practice. Stories are the ones which stick, not the techniques only. Stories inspire. See you. God bless all of you. Namaste, everyone. Bye.